Hold your water.
Okay.
Is anybody not ready? All right, great, let's do it.
Well, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with my colleague from Texas, Senator Cruz, Senator Ricketts from the great state of Nebraska, Senator Lee from the great state of Utah, Senator Barrasso from Wyoming was here with us but had to leave just a few moments ago. We've had another great visit here in the Valley. The main reason Senator Cruz and I invite our colleagues to come here is because of the complexity, shall we say, of what's going on here. But first, before I talk a little bit about what we saw and what we all learned, I just want to honor San Benito police officer Lieutenant Milton Resendez, who was killed in the line of duty this week. Our prayers, of course, are with his family and his brothers and sisters in blue as they mourn his tragic loss. It's no news to anybody that the Biden administration has seen historic levels of irregular or illegal mass migration across the southern border. And you might ask, what's changed? Well, a number of things have changed. Historically, immigration was poor people coming from Mexico, Central America that wanted to work in the United States. Today, people are traveling literally from around the world and showing up at the ports of entry and claiming asylum, or because of the sheer volume of people coming across, the Biden administration is simply releasing them into the interior of the United States without any real consequences. If you listen to the Border Patrol, what they tell you is there's no consequences, which is another way of saying there's no deterrent for people not to come or to come only through regular legal channels. I believe, and I'm sure my colleagues would agree with me, legal immigration has been a blessing to our country, truly has. Illegal immigration is a disaster because the Biden administration is outsourcing immigration to drug cartels, transnational criminal organizations who care nothing about the people. All they care about is the money. And we saw the Brooks County Sheriff was showing us pictures of bleached bones and human remains of migrants who have been left behind in Brooks County as they tried to circumvent the Falfurrias checkpoint. This is a disaster. It's a humanitarian disaster. It is a public safety disaster. Before I hand it over to Senator Cruz, let me just point out two other things. We focus a lot on the migrants who've come across, and certainly there have been millions, as many maybe as 7 million, including 1.5 million gotaways trying to evade law enforcement. But there's not enough attention to being paid to the 108,000 Americans who lost their lives last year as a result of drugs coming across the border, including 71,000 from fentanyl alone. As you will hear from my colleagues, fentanyl is the leading cause of death of 18 to 45-year-olds in the United States. The leading cause of death from a drug that is manufactured, in essence, in Mexico and smuggled across the border into the interior. And then there's the 300,000 children who've been lost by the Biden administration. The New York Times alone has documented that as many as 85,000 phone calls were made to sponsors of these unaccompanied children, only to go unanswered 30 days after they've been placed with the sponsor. They can't tell you whether they're going to school, whether they're getting the health care that they need, whether they're being abused, neglected, trafficked for sex, forced into involuntary labor. They can't tell you. And the truth is they don't care. Because if they did care, they would do something about it. So, you know, the Rio Grande Valley is one of my favorite places to come. I'm sure Senator Cruz feels the same way. This is a vibrant part of our state. It's unique, and there's another reason why I love to have our colleagues come. They've learned a lot about the importance of binational trade between Mexico and the United States and how many jobs that creates here in America and in Mexico as well. And so we have something special here, but unfortunately it's being spoiled by the Biden administration's reckless policies that do nothing to deter illegal immigration and facilitate, frankly, the death of 108,000 Americans last year alone and hundreds of thousands of lost children lost to sponsors in the interior of the United States with unknown outcomes. With that, let me turn it over to Senator Cruz.